represent health professionals and institutions from all over Africa, and also we have some international members, and all these are institutions or professionals with a vast, wide experience. As you can see, that we came from the Medical Education Partnership Initiative and joined with the Nursing Education Partnership Initiative. And these two programs were sponsored by PEPFAR with the aim of improving health professions, education, and research in Africa. As we're coming to an end, the people who are involved wanted the program to be sustainable and to continue with the gains that we had gotten from MEPI and NEPI. So we formed AFREhealth. And AFREhealth works to achieve excellence in health professions, education, research, and service. And we strive to influence a new interprofessional standard. As many of you will come to learn or already know, one of our main focus is interprofessional education and collaborative practice. As AFREhealth, we try whatever to do to make sure that we work as a team of health professionals, because then we can influence the health outcomes of our patients. And we are for sustainability and continuous quality improvement for the African population. So we are a leader and convener for scaling up South to South networking and collaboration, because many times we look to the North for collaboration, but whereas there's a lot that we can actually benefit from and also do together as South to South. And we do this to address the workforce challenges that we have through innovative interprofessional education and research in our region. So we have a governance structure in place. We have our annual general meeting, and then under that we have the governing council, 23 members from all over our region. We have a 6-member executive committee, and then we have subcommittees that consist of members of AFREhealth that help run the organization. Then we have the secretariat that do the day-to-day work of the organization. And this is all been well established. And I must say that thanks to Mariki for a lot of work that she did when she was our president. She came when the structures were not there, but by the end of her presidency, most of these were in place. So AFREhealth strives towards a responsive health workforce, providing relevant, high-quality, evidence-based healthcare in Africa. We have a vision and mission. Our vision is to be a responsive and leading African forum in the pursuit of excellence in health research, education, and service provision. And we do this through our mission to provide African leadership for responsive health professions, education, training, research, and service delivery. We emphasize partnerships and collaboration, networking, advocacy, resource mobilization, strategic communication. We share our best practices like we are going to do through this STRIPE capacity strengthening program. And all this we want to transform responsive health professions, education, research, and service. And we have goals to establish. We have to establish AFREhealth as a self-sustaining, viable organization that addresses Africa's health challenges, and we are already doing this. AFREhealth has been established and is now doing work. And we serve as a platform for knowledge generation and sharing, as well as learning, just like what will happen during this course. And we contribute to improving the quality of care and healthcare services in Africa by addressing Africa's human resource challenges, which we all know very well. So we do several activities. Excuse me. We do research, we do capacity strengthening, we have interprofessional student exchanges, we do a lot of webinars, and this came in very handy during the COVID-19 when we were all locked up and we had to learn about the new COVID-19 because most of us, this was a new entity. We have an annual symposium, and this year it's going to be in Maputo, Mozambique. Please plan to be there. It's going to be in the first week of August, 1st to 3rd. And when we get together, it is an exciting time. We share what we've done throughout the year. We share best practices, and we have questions that we put together so that we can do research on this. And we have technical working groups. These are communities of practice where each one can find a niche where you are interested. And if you find that you don't fit in any of these, I won't go through all of them, but there are many: health professions, education and research, competence-based education. If you find you don't fit in any of those, we are willing to meet your interests and formulate other technical working groups. These are our communities of practice where we meet and talk about our areas of interests. And we have projects and programs. Right now we have the NIH grant that is really been sustaining AFREhealth, but we also have others like Stripe HIV COVID, which is stroke COVID, which is we are going to talk about now, and other projects that we are running. And we believe in partnerships and networking, not only south to south, but also north-south. We partner with NIH, Infectious Disease Institute, Makerere University. These are some of our partners, but we have many more. And of course, we have members in our network from all over the region. We have some achievements. As I said, we are a legally established international NGO with a good standing. We have a secretariat that is functional in Kumasi, and we are now well established in our region. We've secured some successful grants, and we are managing them well. We've done some out-country research and published it. We run a quarterly newsletter. I'd like to thank Fatima, who started this off. It's going well, and she's handed over. So we even have good transition of power. You know, Mariki was president. She handed over to Abigail. Abigail handed over to me. And so we have good governance and structures in place. And now the quarterly newsletter, it was Fatima who was the editor, and now she handed it over to Priska. So, and it's running well. We have our new symposium, which I told you about. And we also now we are giving out some small grants, which is really great. We have other achievements that we are really proud of, like Stripe HIV and COVID. It's been running for several years. We've trained over 13,000 health professionals, and these are interprofessional: medical, nursing, pharmacy, laboratory, and some social scientists. And we have 145 partners. There may be more now, institutions and governments, and over 1,000 facilitators. Some of them, I'm really glad to know that now we have facilitators that have been trained who are actually going to do the training. And this is really great that we are handling this and taking it on ourselves. That's really exciting. We also have our James Hakim Leadership Development Program. We are proud of that. We named it after one of our founder members who unfortunately passed on during COVID, a great African scientist, and this has trained also many people. And we have a functional LMS that is translated in English, French, and Portuguese, and has several courses, including the HIV and COVID training modules. We also have others there that we are running on the LMS. Now, talking about membership, we have over 700 individual members and 70 institutional members across Africa. And in orange, that's where we have the members, but we are trying, I think there are more members now actually, but by the end of the year, we would like that all that blue populated in orange, so that we are all over Africa. Right now, our executive director has gone to Egypt for a meeting, and she's going to try as much as possible to recruit from the northern part of Africa. And our membership cuts across geographic and linguistic regions of Africa, as you can see. And we also have international members from outside Africa. So membership is open to any individual that has the same vision, mission, and objectives as us, or groups, NGOs, and institutions. We have individual and institutional members. We have international members who are also individual and institutional. We have student members and other affiliated institutions that are members of our organization. And there are benefits. Individual members can benefit from being part of the research we do. You grow professionally, grow others, you mentor others. Like now, I'm really glad to see that people that started as trainees in the course are now facilitators themselves, going to train others. So there's growth. There's access to resources like the grants, collaboration, networking, and interaction between senior and junior professionals, which is really important. And in AFREhealth, everybody has a voice, so everybody can speak. There's no hierarchy from the juniors, from the seniors. Everybody will have a voice in AFREhealth. And we also, for institutional membership, you connect south to south and also to the north, you connect globally. We also, you have access to best practices, educational and research opportunities. You broaden your exposure, and we expand knowledge internationally. And it is really evolving, and it's very important for institutions to be members. We can have external examiners. You have a pool from where you can get external examiners. So strategically, we want to expand membership and strategic partnerships. And we are really focusing on individual and institutional members from across Africa, but also globally to establish and grow partnerships that will lead our organization to develop the professional networks, do capacity and interest strengthening for pre-service and in-service, and also continuous professional development. And we really promote interprofessional education and collaborative practice. And we develop modules, teaching modules on AFREhealth, for the AFREhealth LMS, and continue to do research. So thank you very much. I wish you the best as you continue with this. Danke, asante, obrigado. You know, everybody can fit within AFREhealth. Thank you so much. Over to you, Mariki.
Sorry, I was muted. Thank you so much, Elsie. We know you are very busy. We really appreciate your time and effort that you made to come and tell us more about AFREhealth. Good luck with your work. Thank you for people writing in the chat where they're from. Please continue that. Winifred can show us the program. And I'm very happy to see there are students here also today. That's wonderful. So our program, which Winifred will show now, we've now done with the introduction by Professor Chikulu Mawari. Next slide, which is the program. So let me just, as in an overview. So we will, Fatima, we're quite informal here, so that's why I didn't put any surnames here. Forget about the professors and the doctors. Like Elsie said, there's no hierarchy. So Fatima will tell us a little bit about Stripeys and the Stripe vision. Then I will give you a quick course overview. We specifically organized this orientation program to help people because you have to register on the LMS before the course, of which Roger will tell you about. And then we have Shagun that will show module 1 as an example. And then we have questions and answers. So the next slide, I think it's for Fatima then. Winifred, you can move to that.
Thank you, Mariki. Good afternoon and good evening, everyone. My name is Fatima Suleiman. As Elsie and Mariki have both said, we do not have hierarchies or any kind of suffixes or prefixes in our name here in AFREhealth. It's a network of networks, but it's completely an interprofessional, collegial, participatory network. I am going to talk a little bit about, as Elsie had said, the opportunities that COVID-19 brought to the organization. I'm sure most of you are aware and have experienced where you would want to go to a particular conference or learning opportunity, and there are issues of travel accommodation, visas, all of those sorts of things that go into it. And then very much we end up also in our vertical programs and our vertical professions. And most of us do our training within those groups and not really interprofessionally. The AFREhealth network has managed, or I should say the AFREhealth organization has managed to put together a learning management system that can actually bring together all professions and all people from all over Africa in partnership with our North American colleagues to present learning opportunities for all of us that live in Africa and find difficulty in traveling. It's also meant for all of the members who are young, emerging academics or clinicians that have families that are still struggling to pay back debt, that have other responsibilities that don't allow them to travel and meet other people. So the Stripe project is actually a pilot project that started with as a launch to the LMS. It was implemented by AFREhealth in partnership with UCSF from 2020, and that was around the start of the pandemic. It was an opportunity to be able to engage people that could not leave their countries at that point in time, but needed to be able to understand a little bit more about how to improve HIV care and training so as to then further the SDG goals and the targets for HIV. So it looked at building the capacity of healthcare professionals, whether you're an academic, whether you're a clinician, whether you were undergraduate, whether you were postgraduate, graduate. And because it was the pandemic, we added some COVID-19 modules in this way. These trainings that were held previously and the ones you're going to experience, you will find there are people from all professions. It's an interprofessional training opportunity, and it aims to look at, like I said, decentralizing HIV/AIDS care for smaller institutions across Africa to deal with both care and training. Next slide, please. Some of what I have in the next slide is also something that Elsie has mentioned, but I thought it was important to actually put these bullet points together about the benefits that are going to accrue to you aside from just taking the modules that you will be taking in this course. So we're hoping that you being from all over, and you've introduced yourself in the chat, you can foster collaboration across these different professional groups. And in that way, within your own country, be able to break down these professional barriers and create interprofessional training groups in academia and in service to be able to get better patient outcomes at the end of the day. To foster collaboration across the African countries, you can do this. Make your friends, use each other as peer support, use each other for any sorts of like, as we're saying, you know, examination of students, or even to do research. We have several research projects that are multi-country that have emerged out of COVID-19 from this organization. And we've had a collaboration across Lusophone, Francophone, and Anglophone countries, which is actually not that common across Africa. It's a great networking opportunities. We've had this organization and the AFREhealth grant launch other collaborations to apply for other grants, and there are other successful grants that the organization has managed to get, and researchers across Africa. Also, because we have mentioned that interprofessional training is so limited in the region, and case-based training is also not something that people are familiar with, we build capacity in both of these by those that are taking the course and those that are teaching on the course. And we hope eventually that Stripe HIV will end up improving patient outcomes and patient care in our region. Thank you, Mariki. I'm going to stop there and hand over to you again.
Thank you very much, Fatima. And thank you for emphasizing the interprofessional nature of what we do. It's really important. So please invite your friends and colleagues, students from other professions also in. Fatima, there's just a question in the chat about membership. If you can answer that, it's about an affiliated institution to, or maybe we must ask Elsie if the question is, what if your institution is affiliated to a member institution? I guess it's like a health service or something. Do you then also fall under the membership of that affiliated institution?
An example, this is it's Didas who raised the question.
Yes, please. Yes, carry on.
Yes, assuming like I'm Didas from Uganda. We have Makerere University as the member institution, and under Makerere University, we have other universities like Westema, Kabale University. So like Kabale University may not be a member, but is affiliated to Makerere University. So that was like a question, like, so if I'm like under Kabale University, am I a member or I have to register under Makerere University? Thank you.
Okay, very good question. I don't know the answer.
No, I think if it's a legally an institution as a legal entity, it's a separate institution, then it's separate institution. You would have to register via Makerere. But if legally your university is a separate entity, then your university has to become a member.
Yes, that's correct. And if you lobby your university to become a member because of the benefits, but as in the meantime, you can become an individual member and still get benefits. But there are more benefits if it's your whole university that is a member.
Yes, I agree with you, Ernest Chiguri, because recently there was a call for the grant, and we showed interest to apply for it. However, I couldn't because I was not a member, so I had to work through the university. But it was also a challenge, so we ended up actually not attending to that application for the grant. Thank you.
Thank you, Didas. Thank you. Very good question. Okay, so the other thing is also that if you say are from Makerere University or Botswana University and your university is an institutional member, it is beneficial if you just contact the secretariat and add your name to the individual members, because then you are on the distribution list. Because we don't know if your university sent out the newsletters and things to everyone. So it'll be to get your name on our distribution list. Contact Roger can put I think info@AFREhealth in the chat box, the email for that. Okay, then Winifred can give us the next slide.
Mariki, before
Okay.
you start, can I
Yes.
offer my apologies before I leave?
sure.
Just to say that I'm sorry, I've got prayers and parents to feed, so I will have to leave. My apologies.
Okay. Thank you so much
Thank
for coming.
you. No
We
problem.
understand that.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, so for this year, we are running 2 Stripe courses. Each course will consist of an orientation session like we have today, plus 3 of the HIV modules. And then a course is in essence 4 weeks with the 4 contact sessions. And then there's some work before and after the module, which the module facilitator will explain to you. The reason why we added the orientation is that we need you all to register on the LMS, because you have to do the pre-course evaluation before we do the Zoom session. So Roger will tell you in a moment to do that. I also want at this stage to say that there is space for more participants on this course. So we are going to send the invite out again to all those who expressed interest. But if there are people working with you that's interested, please let them come. At this stage, we won't not admit them if they're not members. I think it's good to get a first one, your first one free. You know, sometimes you buy something and you get the first one free. So, because we would really like to have more people here. So, okay, I'm just checking the chat. Right. So this, the course 1 then was the orientation session today. The Zoom session, all the Zoom sessions are on Wednesday afternoons, this time, 4:30 Central African time. Sorry about those in East Africa, it's getting late there. And sorry about those in West Africa, you're still working time, but that's the nature of our lovely organization. So then next week will be module 1, which is on HIV and women. And your facilitators will be Shagun and Selena, and you will meet them in a moment. Then the next week, the Zoom session on the 21st of June is module 3. The module numbers are the way they are in the course, and that's on HIV and TB. And that, oh, sorry, let me go back to Shagun is from Nigeria, Selena is from South Africa. Then we will have HIV and TB, and Ivan from Uganda and Matabogo from Lesotho will be facilitators. And then the Zoom session on 28 June will be on module 13, health systems, and Silabala from Lesotho and Erdo from Ethiopia will be your facilitators. So we have main facilitators and small group facilitators, which you will also learn to know, and some of them will present during the second course. So we will be issuing certificates for the course, but to qualify for that, we would like you to attend all 3 of the modules and do the pre-course and the post-course evaluation. So maybe if some of your friends join and they don't do that, they will not get a certificate, but don't let that discourage them from at least attending the Zoom session to see what our training is all about. But those of you who show good interest and you so the requirements is that you attend the Zoom session, you do the pre-course evaluation, which you should do before you do the Zoom, otherwise you already have the knowledge, and the post-course evaluation. That will be on the LMS, which Roger saw. So it is not onerous. Most of the time you can just join the Zoom session, but for the certificate, we will give you a certificate if you do that. So maybe let me just pause here to ask for if people have questions on the program for the course. You can put it in the chat or raise your hand or just unmute and speak. Yes, welcome, Matebogo. You will also notice that your facilitators are from a range of professions. So again, all professions are welcome. You also received this with your email notification, and you again, please distribute in your institutions. Feel free to do that. We will send you the Zoom link. Winifred, will the Zoom link be the same for all the Zoom sessions?
Currently, the one that I set up was only for today. So I
Okay,
can just do the modifications for it to like reflect for the rest of the dates.
Okay, all right. So you will send that out again. But I think at this stage, we decide that we will send it out to the whole list of people who expressed interest initially. And if there are new people via our participants today, we will also allow them to join. Okay, so I don't see any questions. So let's go to the next slide and see what we have next. I think we have Roger next. Okay, so Roger Lawrence is the LMS facilitator. Roger, please go ahead. You can take your time. You have enough time. I think this is important that people understand this part. Thank you. You can go ahead.
All right, thank you, Mariki. Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Roger, and I'm the LMS administrator. What I'm going to demonstrate how you'll be able to register and self-enroll on the LMS. Because as part of the course, the LMS is a key tool that you will use throughout the course or the training. So I'm going to share my screen. Mariki, if you can please stop sharing your screen so that I can. Okay, great.
Are you going to show us the URL first, how to get?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
All right, let me just stop and show you the URL just a minute. So it is important, like I mentioned, that everybody registers on the LMS so that we can have some activities on the LMS, as well as have some discussion forums and some self-paced activities on the LMS. But first, I'm going to show the URL as mentioned by Mariki before I go on to do a practical one. So let me just share my screen and show you the. Okay, so as you can see, this is the URL or the website address that we will be having the training, the activities on. Apart from having Zoom sessions that you'll be shared through your emails, this is where almost everything happens, where you access the modules, you access the activities, the pre and post knowledge quiz. So you can write it down or you can take a screenshot of it so that you do not forget it. I'll put it in the chat box as well. And also when we are done, Winifred will share a secreted email and add a link to it. All right, so let me just go to the main platform. Okay, so before you'll be able to access the LMS, it is important as a new user for you to register. So when you visit the URL that I gave earlier, that is learn.afrehealth.org, you do not have to first log in because you are a new user. what you will have to do is to access a new account over here. As you can see here, it is asking, is this your first time here? So you can take a read through this and then gently click on the new account, or go down here and click on create new account. Now, when you click on the create new account, you'll be required to create some few information will be requested from you for you to get access into the LMS. So first, like almost every system, it is required that you have a username. So I am already in the system, but for the purpose of demonstration, I'm going to create a dummy account with myself again, and then probably after that, take it off. So you can watch how I fill the form and then fill it with your correct credentials or correct information. Then afterwards, you can have access to the LMS. So first, based on my name is Roger Lawrence, so I can create a short form of my name as a username, like Roger L as my username, and then create a password. Now, as you can see here, it is required that you have at least 8 characters as a password. And within this 8 character, there should be at least 1 digit, there should be at least a lowercase, and at least an uppercase, and 1 non-alphanumeric character, such as hash, star, or hyphen, or a question mark. So this helps you to create a strong password. If you do anything below this, it will not pick it in the system. For instance, if you set all lowercase as a password, it will not allow you to bypass the registration page. So it is important to take notes and combine all these characters to create a password. So based on this, I'll just create my password, taking into consideration that I am supposed to have an uppercase, a lowercase, and an alphanumeric character. Now, with every course on the LMS, we have an enrollment key. So for this, the enrollment key actually helps us to self-enroll onto the course immediately we are done registering. So every course of the LMS has a unique key that when you insert it over here, it will take you to the London course or the course that you are required to have access to. Earlier, Winifred sent the course code or the enrollment key around, and I've seen already that some people have been able to self-register. So I'm going to copy in the enrollment key here from the guide I shared earlier. The enrollment key, let me mention it, and again, I'll put it in the chat box as well. It's capital S in caps lock, STHAE, A, number 0, number 2, number 3, and a capital S. Probably, Winifred, if you can help me and put it in the chat box for me, I'll be grateful. So this is the enrollment key specifically for learners only. For learners only. The good thing is that our facilitators were already on the LMS, already registered on the LMS, so they have been moved onto the course as facilitators already. So for them, all they have to do is to log in for them to access. So this key here is only for learners. So any learner who is self-registering, if the learner does not enter this code, they will be able to register. However, they won't see the course Stripe Africa. But once you put in this code, it will then land you to the course Stripe Africa immediately after you are done registering. So after then, you fill in some required emails like your email address. Yeah, and then you repeat your email again, so you do not have to make any mistake on it. You will note that there are some asterisks beside some of the columns, and these are mandatory fields. That means if you do not fill them, you will not be able to bypass the system. So I can put in my town, which is Accra, and then select the country that you belong to. So I am working from Ghana, so I select Ghana, and I put in my age. You can put in your age, yeah, and then select the gender. And you can also put in your profession here, which is also mandatory. So if you are into medicine, you will type in medicine. If you're into pharmacist, you can type in pharmacy or nursing. I am an LMS administrator. And then you select your institution. Because my office is situated in Kwame Nkrumah, I'll just select University for now. And then you select your training level, whether you're pre-service or a post-service over here. And then the degree you have, whether diploma, bachelor's, master's, PhD. And then you can put in your phone number. Now, once you're done, everything is set, you check through that everything is okay. And you do not have to forget your username, because after registration, you will use your username and your password that you created to log in afterwards. Now, once you're done with this, anytime you are visiting the LMS, what you will need is your username and your password to access, because you will not need to have to register again since your details are already in. So once I'm done, I can just go ahead and create my new account. Okay, so as you can see, the moment I clicked on register, on create my account, sorry, it's landed me into the dashboard. Now, this is what you will see the moment you are done registering. It will bring you to the LMS dashboard, and this is your profile. Now, on the dashboard, you will see that there is course enrollment. And on the course enrollment, you will see that you have been enrolled as a student into the course Stripe HIV Africa. So what you will have to do is to click on the course. And then we get here. Now we are within the Stripe HIV Africa course. However, when you land on the course, there are some few things you may have to complete before you get access to the modules. If you do not complete them, you will not see the modules. So as you can see on my dashboard or on my screen, it says, please complete a survey feedback. So you are required to complete a survey before you get access to the modules or you get access to the overview. So again, for the purpose of demonstration, let me go ahead and complete the survey. You click on continue, and then you have the student survey. On the student survey, you'll be required to read over what is there, and then take your time and then answer all the questions that have been provided here. Because of time, I'm familiar with the questions. I'm going to go ahead and answer them. And then when you are responding to it, you have to take your time and read them and then answer it according to how you relate to the questions. So once you are done with the survey, there's a button that says submit your answers. Click on the submit your answers, and then it says student survey, continue. There's a continue button that will take you to the next stage. Now, once the survey is done, you can see that the dashboard says that you are now fully enrolled here because you've completed the survey. So you can see the Stripe HIV Africa course. Again, you will have to click on the Stripe HIV Africa course. And then, as you can see, we have the dashboard, which is showing the overview. You see the announcements, the question and answer. These are features that are available for learners and facilitators to have interactions on. Once they are grouped, learners can put in their questions, and then facilitators can respond to it on the question and answer. And then if there's any announcements, like there's any reschedule of a session or anything, apart from the email, any other announcements can be posted here by the facilitators as well. So within the system, the facilitators have extra privilege as compared to the learners. So once you are here, again, you realize that you still will not see the modules on the left side. This is because you are required to go through the overview of the course. Overview of the course. So to have full access to the overview, you will have to go to view the selected module. Now the overview gives you an overview and talks about the objective of the course, as has been mentioned earlier. But it is important that you take a read and go through the objectives of the course. This is for all the modules as well. For instance, you have how to use the course requirements, and a whole lot. And learning activities for each module. Now, every module within this course has a particular activity to be performed. We have a pre-knowledge quiz for each module to complete before you get to an interactive self-paced activity. And then we have a video conferencing, which is a Zoom session. And then we have the post-course quiz afterwards. Now, what happens in the LMS is that each of them is dependent on the rest, on the other. Before you access the number 2, you will have to complete the number 1. That is, like, you have to complete the pre-knowledge quiz before you can go ahead to the interactive self-paced activity. Then after that, then the Zoom session comes in. So it is important that learners always log in before a session, as communicated or will be communicated by the course administrator or the facilitator, to log in and have the pre-knowledge and interactive self-paced before they have a Zoom session, and then they come back to the LMS and do the post-knowledge quiz. I will demonstrate that briefly afterwards. Now, before you have access to the modules to see the pre-knowledge and the self-paced and the post-knowledge quiz, you still have to complete the Stripe registration survey itself. For the course itself, the Stripe registration survey. So you again come in here and click on the Stripe registration survey. And then you click on answer the questions. Again, there are some questions which will be asked, which are related to your area of study. For instance, these are questions you'll be asked. Again, I am not a medical person, so I'll go ahead and select answers for the purpose of demonstration. But when you are filling, you are required to put in the accurate information that are required to make this complete. So you select a country, just like filling the registration form, and then you read in, and whatever you can relate to, you respond to it. If it's not applicable, you can put in there not applicable. So again, I am doing this for the purpose of demonstration. So yes. So once you are done with the survey, you can submit your answers. You realize that the moment I was done submitting my answers, on the left side of my dashboard, you can see all the modules appearing. That means I have completed all the mandatory surveys that I am required to do before I can get to access the modules. So basically, there are 2 surveys you complete before you get access to the modules. And before Segun comes in, I just wanted to show example of what I mean by the activities we have on the LMS for each of the modules. So it's easier for us to do or use when we are on the LMS. So for instance, let me just take for module 1. There is an overview for module 1, and afterwards, before any session, there are guidelines which says, please complete pre-knowledge quiz before reviewing any of the material below. You must complete the pre-knowledge quiz and all the activities, including the Zoom session, before you take the post-knowledge quiz. So like I mentioned earlier, every module has a pre-knowledge quiz, which learners will be required to respond to before they come to this interactive self-paced. This is self-paced module before the Zoom session with a facilitator over here. And then there are also learning materials over here that learners can have and read. And then there's also the post-knowledge quiz over here. Once the Zoom session is over and the training is done for the module, they can come to the post-knowledge quiz and complete the post-knowledge quiz. Again, there are some learning materials in here that learners can have access to in the folder. Once you click on it, it will take you to some materials that you can have access to and then have a read. The interesting thing about this feature is that if an activity is completed, it automatically checks itself that this has been completed. So once you complete it, you will see that it will automatically check itself, showing that you have completed it. So the next time when you come into the system, probably you logged in today and then you completed this. Next time you log into the system, you realize that this is automatically checked. And then afterwards, you will know that this is where you got into, and then you proceed from there, where applicable as well. So each of the modules have a guide that will take you through what you are supposed to do for each of the modules. There are overviews that your facilitator will probably engage you on as well during the training. And there are some resources that your lead facilitator will take you through as well. So basically, this is how you will register and self-enroll on the LMS. And then, like I mentioned, you can always post your question and answers here. An announcement can be posted here. So if you have anything in particular, you can post it over here, and then your facilitator can go in and then respond to as well. And the interesting thing about it is that anytime there is an interaction, you'll get an email notifying you that there's an activity pending or there's a question at the forum, and then where you can click from the email and land to the LMS with login, and then you get to see it for yourself. So I guess I will end it here. If there are any questions, or if there's something I need to go back and clarify, I'll be happy to clarify.
Roger, can I just ask first? I've got two questions. The one is, the recording of this meeting, is it possible to place it quite early on when the student is registered? Otherwise, they won't know that they must do things before they can get to the document. Like, for instance, the slides for today, where will you put that? And the recording for today, where will that be put so that people who haven't been here today can access it to see how to get in? Are you saying it's under the overview, but to get to the overview, they must have done all these things already?
Yes, sorry, I forgot I muted. I was saying that I will place the recording at the overview, but you're saying that they might have done this already. Am I correct?
No, the recording and the slides for today, I think, must be before they even go into the course. There where you have the first page where it says Stripe Africa.
So often what we often do to make it easier is that we create the recording into a link, a YouTube link, and the files as well, and share to the participants via email. But those who do not have access to it to watch it before they learn from it, and then come and use it to register as well. However, the recording will still be embedded as a link at the overview because it will not be part of the module. So it will be embedded here at the overview. Probably before the pre-course activities, I will put the link, the link here. I'll put the title, the link here, and the files here as well. Apart from Winifred having sent it via email as well.
Yes, so I would suggest, Winifred, when you send the Zoom link invite for next week, that you include the link to the YouTube video with this recording, so that people can have it up front. Okay, and then the other question I just as you went, they said you got dropped
Hello,
down.
Margie.
Yes, Winifred. Yeah, did you say yes? Okay, you got it. Just on the institutions, there's a drop down menu of institutions. What do you do if your institution is not on there?
Okay, so there is other, and yeah, there is other that you can select, and then I'll get to also create it as well when you select other, and yeah, I'll get to create it in it as well.
Okay.
But however, if you have, I forgot to ask that apart from this, if you have any challenge as well, it is always important to contact me or send me an email afterwards. Have a good day.
Okay, you put, there you go. Okay, right. And then a question is this available in French or not yet?
Yes, it is available in French. However, it is being reviewed by our partners, and then when it's completely ready, I'll just announce it. But it's ready. It's just going through review currently.
Okay, because Biligo from Mali would really like to see that. In terms of the Portuguese translations, that's a bit behind the French. Because Professor Alexandra was doing it and she unfortunately passed away. Okay, there's a question. The letter O in the token, is it a 0 or a O? It's difficult.
It's a number 0.
It's number a number 0.
Yes, please.
Okay. So all the facilitators also need to use that.
No. So I mentioned that the facilitators were already registered on the LMS because of the facilitation skills course they went through. So I had to move them to the Stripe HIV Africa course. So the facilitators do not need to re-register again since they are already active on the LMS. So however, when they log in, on their next login, they will see the Stripe Africa course with the role facilitator.
Then you click on that. Yeah.
Say that again, please.
Okay, no, that's cool. Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, I don't see anyone. Please, you're welcome to email Roger at his address afterwards also. Okay, so we're staying logged in for the next session. I just want to introduce you to your two facilitators for week 1, and I'm going to ask them. Okay, Ivan says it's easier to access by the facilitator. I found it simple to navigate the LMS. Thank you, Ivan. That maybe help people to feel less intimidated. Okay, I'm going to ask Tegan and then Selena to please introduce yourselves. Tell us a little bit about where you're from, what you do. First Tegan and then Selena. Tegan, before you start with us, just introduce first. Yeah, go ahead. Can see you.
Okay, my name is Shegun Shikwande from University of Ibadan, Nigeria. I'm a lecturer in the Department of Clinical Pharmacy and Pharmacy Administration. I've been involved with Stripe Africa, especially Stripe Nigeria, Ibadan, since I think about 2000, just before the COVID. Okay, so I've been a facilitator for that long, and I'm happy to be one of the facilitators for this program too. Thank you.
Thank you, Shagan. Selena, are you able to show yourself? Yes, there we go.
Good evening, colleagues. I am Selena from the University of KwaZulu-Natal Nursing Department. I have been facilitating Stripe since 2019, and this will be my second time of facilitating Stripe online, and it is fun to be in this course. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Selena. Okay, so we've asked Shagan just to give us a feel for module 1, what it looks like on the LMS, what it's about, so you get all excited to do it. There's a question. Okay, no, that's fine. Okay, we can get back to the slides. Winifred. Winifred can share the slides. That one, yes. The next one. Next one. Okay, Shagan, you can carry on.
Okay, thank you very much. There's very little to say about this slide. Roger has said a lot about how the learners can navigate through the LMS platform. Okay, and the key points too, he has also mentioned them. It's important for every learner to know that before this Zoom session for each week, you need to do the pre-knowledge quiz. It's important. Even before you go to the materials that are available on the LMS, you need to have, concluded your pre-knowledge quiz. That is important. Then subsequently, of course, you go through the materials and get ready for the Zoom session, because in the Zoom session, we'll be having a lot of interprofessional discourse in the Zoom session. So it's important that you will also need to return to the LMS and then complete the post-knowledge quiz immediately after. And each time you do that, you do any of those activities, it is important that you check the boxes directly in front of those activities, because if you don't, you may not be able to proceed to the next session. So that is very, very important. I think I would just share one or two things with us on the LMS concerning the Module 1 as an example. So if Winifred can pull down this slide, I would like to share mine from my hand here, so that we look at Module 1 together. Okay, thank you, Winifred. Okay, of course, this is the facilitator's view, maybe slightly different from the learner's view. But this is Module 1. And we will be engaging each other, the facilitators and the learners, via the question and answer. So if you have any question, you want to clarify anything, please post the question here. We would all discuss it together, the learners, the facilitators, because we are all co-learners. And then if there's any information to share with you, just as Roger said, where it will be posted on the announcement board. Then of course, to start, you need to click on the view, the module, view section module. waiting for response. Okay, so that would take us to the course. Okay, I hope I'm clicking the right one. But there's a place there where you have, where it says the activities. Let me try and see if I can look for it here. I had it before. Okay, I'm not sure I can see it again, but you need to click on that and it will take you to the course. Sorry. Okay, Roger.
You can click on the four dotted lines on the left, right, on the left column.
Left?
The 4 lines, yeah, please click on it.
Okay.
Yes, very well.
We'll have this.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for that. That's the pre-knowledge quiz that you need to do before any other thing. So, and you need to do that before the Zoom session. And of course, the next one is for you to click on this link, which will take you to the course. Let's wait for it to load. Okay, so you would see this page, and then you can click on the enter. And then we'll have this. So this, hold on a bit. As the network is trying to load. So it will load your course and then you can start the course. So I'll just click on that to just show us some of the things that learning objectives. So the learners would have to go through all this in order to get prepared for the Zoom session. So once you have done all this and you have gone through them, then you're ready to engage in this Zoom session. Okay, of course, you can click continue, and then that's just the brief overview of that. So during this Zoom session, we would go into breakout sessions, we would discuss, come back to the main room and continue the discussion. But basically, that's all that it entails in each of those modules. That's just the layout. Pre-knowledge quiz, go through the materials that are provided. You would also see, just as Roger shared, you would also see some extra materials that you can also go through in order to prepare for that, for the module. I guess that's about it. So don't forget that you must do your pre-knowledge quiz, attend the Zoom session, then of course complete your post-knowledge quiz. And that's that for any module. Thank you very much. If there's any question, I can put this down.
Yeah, can I ask a question? So the pre-knowledge quiz and then the activities, how long does that activity take usually to do?
Now, once the learners do the pre-knowledge quiz, it's a first self-paced learning, but they need to complete it before the Zoom session. So next Wednesday is the Zoom session. So if they start the pre-knowledge quiz now, all those activities need to be completed, before Wednesday.
Okay. And then what do they, apart from the post-knowledge quiz, what do they have to do after the Zoom session?
After the Zoom session?
Yes.
Yeah, the post-knowledge quiz, each learner would have to take the post-knowledge quiz after the Zoom session.
And then they will go for the next module, the pre-knowledge quiz. Right. Then they need to prepare
Usually
for
module 3.
Yeah, right. Okay. It's self-paced, so it depends on how much time each person takes to do that. Okay, there's Jennifer. What happens when one misses one module? Jennifer, the modules are not, if you miss a module, you have to attend all 3 modules to get a certificate. But if you just do 1 or 2 modules, that is also fine, but then you won't get a certificate from AFREhealth. That's how we set it up now in order to accommodate more people who perhaps just want to do 1 module. Is that clear? And then during the Zoom session, Shagan, how many do you have small group activities?
Sorry, can you come again, please?
During the Zoom session, do you have breakout rooms?
Yeah, we'll have breakout rooms. For the first module, we'll have about 2-3 breakout rooms, breakout sessions. Yeah, and then we'll do some of the discussion in the main room.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
yeah, so
of course, I feel to mention that there would also be role play, and the learners will find that in one of the material that can be downloaded from the site. It will tell the learner that there's going to be role play and the parts that any of the learner will play. Okay, but we'll discuss that when we start going through the module.
Okay, right. So then I would request when we end that facilitators just stay behind. We just need to discuss how many we're going to need next week. The facilitators and Winifred and Roger, perhaps.
Okay.
So thank you so much, Shagan.
Thank you.
Thank you for your input. It's great. So any questions from the floor, from anybody attending? Put it in the chat or ask. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Jennifer, for that. Encourage us to attend and actively participate for all sessions and modules. Let's remain committed to the end. Yes, it's not onerous. It's not hard. These modules are designed to be short, to the point, practical learning, and you will really benefit from it. It's light and fun. Will you see any hand or any questions? Okay, so what we usually do at the end of each Zoom session is to take a picture. You know, because we're online, we don't see each other. We like to have a picture at least that we did that session. So I'll ask you to put on your cameras. I just want to check who's taking the picture, Jennifer or Roger.
Yes, I'm taking the picture.
You're taking the picture. Let's wait. Laone, Alexa, Titi, Edwin. Where's University of Botswana cameras? Mozambique.
Sorry, Mariki, I'm in the dark, load shedding, so you won't be able to see me.
No worries. Okay, everybody.
Okay, we're good.
There's 2 pages, eh? They need to take. Okay, all right, Roger, go ahead. Smile, be happy. Okay, tell us when you're done.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I'm good.
So if I can just ask Roger, Winifred, and the facilitator to stay behind for a few minutes. Thank you so much. It was lovely to meet you. Please bring your friends and colleagues along, and hope to see you next week, same time. And have a good evening. Bye. So while they are logging off, I just want to see who volunteered for co-facilitators next week. I'm just opening the thing here.